The emergency transmission arrived at Lunar Command during the quietest hour of Earth's night cycle. Commander Elena Ward had spent 12 years monitoring deep space frequencies, but the signal that pierced through the static froze her blood instantly. A trembling alien voice echoed through the command chamber, broken by explosions and screams in the background. "Unknown listeners, please answer. Our colonies are burning. The Galactic Union abandoned us. We cannot survive alone." Elena replayed the message while officers gathered behind her station in silence. The transmission came from beyond mapped human territory near the fractured Orion Expanse, an area controlled by scattered alien powers humanity had secretly observed for decades. Alongside the audio came horrifying footage. Towering armored invaders marched through silver cities while civilians fled in terror beneath raining plasma fire. Alien children cried beside collapsing buildings. Massive warships blocked the sky like predators circling wounded prey. The species identified themselves as the Illyrians, peaceful traders with no standing military. Their attackers were called the Awoke Dominion, a brutal empire feared throughout neighboring systems for enslaving weaker civilizations. Elena immediately opened a secure channel to Fleet Admiral Jonathan Hayes aboard Earth's orbital fortress Aegis Prime. Within minutes, the Admiral appeared on screen, his expression unreadable as he reviewed the footage. The room remained silent until the final clip ended with the desperate words, "If anyone hears this, please help us before we disappear." Hayes slowly stood from his chair. "How long ago was this transmitted?" he asked quietly. "Roughly 36 hours, sir," Elena answered. "The Illyrians may already be overrun." Hayes stared at the stars beyond the station viewport. Humanity had hidden from the galaxy for nearly 70 years after discovering how alien civilizations viewed Earth. To them, humans were death-world predators born from a nightmare planet overflowing with deadly oceans, crushing gravity, violent weather, and merciless wildlife. Most species believed creatures from Earth should not even exist. That fear had protected humanity, while Earth secretly built fleets powerful enough to defend itself from anything beyond the stars. But now helpless voices had reached human ears. Hayes finally turned toward the officers surrounding him. "Wake the fleet commanders," he ordered calmly. "Activate Armada protocol." The chamber fell still. Every officer understood what those words meant. Earth's hidden war fleets were preparing to move openly for the first time in human history. Far beyond the solar system, innocent civilizations were dying while the galaxy hesitated. Humanity would not hesitate tonight. The Deathworlders were finally coming for war. Across hidden shipyards orbiting Earth, Mars, Titan, and Europa, alarms thundered through steel corridors as humanity's secret armada awakened. Massive carriers powered their reactors while thousands of pilots sprinted toward fighters waiting beneath crimson launch lights. Entire fleets emerged from camouflage stations buried inside asteroids and frozen moons. Humanity had spent generations preparing for a war the galaxy never realized was coming. Now 72 warships gathered around Aegis Prime like predators circling prey. Fleet Admiral Hayes stood upon the command bridge of the dreadnought Resolute while tactical officers projected the Vork invasion across holographic displays. Intelligence estimated over 100 enemy warships occupied Illyrian territory. Most Galactic Union species would surrender against such odds. Humans accelerated toward them instead. Before departure, Hayes transmitted a direct message toward the Galactic Union Council. Alien delegates appeared on the screen moments later, their faces twisting with panic after seeing the enormous human fleet. "You cannot enter Union territory armed," one counselor protested nervously. "The Awoke Dominion controls those systems. Negotiations are already underway." Hayes remained expressionless. "While you negotiate, civilians are dying." Another delegate spoke shakily. "The Awoke military is undefeated. Their fleets annihilated 12 civilizations. If humanity intervenes, you risk galactic war." Hayes leaned closer toward the camera. "Then the war already started without you." The transmission ended immediately. Hours later, the human armada arrived inside Illyrian space. The sight stunned even veteran officers. Entire planets burned beneath orbital bombardments, while shattered stations drifted lifelessly through debris fields. Refugee ships exploded as Vork destroyers hunted them for sport. On the surface of Illyria Prime, civilians hid underground, listening helplessly to the battle above their skies. Then every surviving emergency frequency crackled alive simultaneously. "This is the Terran Armada," a calm human voice announced. "We received your distress signal. Humanity is here." Hope spread through the shelters like wildfire. In orbit, the Vork fleet repositioned confidently, convinced numerical superiority guaranteed victory. Their commander, Warlord Kravis, opened a channel directly toward Admiral Hayes. The towering alien laughed when the smaller human ships appeared on screen. "You crossed the galaxy to die beside these weaklings?" Kravis mocked. Hayes answered with cold silence before giving a single order to his fleet. "All vessels engage." Humanity attacked instantly. Railguns launched tungsten shells at relativistic speed, while carriers unleashed swarms of fighters moving faster than alien targeting systems could track. Human ships twisted through impossible combat maneuvers that would liquefy weaker species under gravitational stress. Within minutes, the Vork front line collapsed in flames. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy witnessed what happened when Deathworlders truly unleashed their full military power against monsters threatening innocent lives. The Battle of Illyria lasted less than 2 hours, but survivors would remember it for centuries. Human warships tore through the Vork fleet with terrifying precision while fighter squadrons hunted enemy destroyers between burning wreckage. The aliens had superior numbers, yet every Terran captain fought with ruthless coordination shaped by centuries, surviving Earth's brutal conditions. Damaged human vessels refused retreat, pushing deeper into enemy formations to shield refugee ships escaping the combat zone. Entire Vork squadrons vanished beneath storms of railgun fire and missile barrages. From his flagship Iron Rain, Warlord Kravis watched his fleet disintegrate in disbelief. "What are these creatures?" he demanded as another carrier exploded across the tactical display. His officers had no answer. Humanity fought unlike any species the galaxy had encountered. They adapted instantly, ignored casualties, and advanced with relentless fury whenever civilians remained in danger. On Illyria Prime, thousands of refugees emerged cautiously from underground shelters as Terran dropships descended through smoke-filled skies. Human soldiers wearing black combat armor secured ruined cities while medics treated injured aliens beside shattered buildings. The Illyrians stared at the humans with fearful amazement. Deathworlders were supposed to be monsters from impossible worlds. Instead, they carried frightened children from rubble and distributed food beside portable field hospitals. A young Illyrian woman approached Sergeant Daniel Reyes near a relief station. "Why did humans come for us?" she whispered nervously. "Your species does not know ours." Reyes removed his helmet, revealing exhausted eyes beneath soot-covered skin. "Because somebody asked for help," he answered simply. "And on Earth we answer." Meanwhile, in orbit, the final Vork flagship attempted escape toward hyperspace. Admiral Hayes refused to allow it. The dreadnought Resolute accelerated directly through the battlefield, ignoring incoming fire while its spinal cannon charged with blinding energy. One devastating shot pierced the enemy flagship from bow to stern. The vessel erupted into fragments visible from the planet below. Silence spread across the battlefield. The remaining Vork ships surrendered moments later. News of humanity's victory raced across galactic networks immediately. Entire civilizations watched recordings of the battle in shock and terror. The hidden Deathworld species had emerged from isolation not as conquerors, but as protectors willing to wage war against any empire threatening weaker worlds. Days later, thousands of transmissions reached Earth from frightened species begging for Terran protection. Humanity answered every single message. From the bridge of the Resolute, Admiral Hayes observed refugee camps rebuilding beneath Illyria's recovering skies. The galaxy had feared humans because Earth created survivors capable of terrible violence. Now they understood something even more dangerous. Humanity reserved its greatest fury not for conquest, but for anyone cruel enough to harm the helpless. The Deathworlders had awakened, and the stars would never feel safe again afterward.